Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to Sports Time HQ. I am your host, Fernando. Joining with me today is my great co-host, Gary. Gary, how you doing today?
Doing pretty good, Freddie. How about you?
You know what? It's been a good ride. It's been a long week, but it's been a good ride today. Last thing for the day till I go to bed. So for you, not so much. You still got dinner.
Yeah, I do.
Man. Well, let me tell you. I tell you, I met this super fan, and I think this would be cool to know. I'm gonna take the music off right away. So this super fan actually was mind blowing. So I went to the gym a couple days ago, and mind you, for everyone who doesn't know, I'm in Denmark, and in Denmark you don't see Patriots or sports gear in general like
Uh-huh.
that, unless like it's a Yankees or Red Sox where they just like the logo. So I was like, maybe he just likes the Patriots logo. And then he goes into the locker room, he comes out, and he's wearing a Michigan Brady shirt. I was like, all right, is this guy like a Patriots fan or something? Like he's got to
Uh-huh.
be. He's got to be. I didn't mention it. I didn't talk to him. I was like, maybe if I see him another day, maybe I'll ask him. Next day, I'm in the gym. Yesterday, I'm about to work out. He's wearing another Patriots shirt. It's a
Mm.
six-time Super Bowl champion Patriots shirt. I said, all right, either this guy's American or he likes the Patriots. He ends up actually asking me if I was an American, and I said, yeah, I'm actually from New England and everything. Turns out he has flown to Boston many times. He was in Boston at Gillette Stadium during the induction of Tom Brady's Hall of Fame.
Oh, wow.
He's met Robert Kraft, and he's gotten a letter from Bill Belichick, and he's
Holy
been on
shit.
TV because he's a big Danish super fan of New England, Boston Celtics, and the Red Sox.
Wow, that's really cool.
Isn't that wild? Isn't that wild? You
You
don't see
never
that.
know. You
You
never
know,
know.
and ironically, this new job that I'm starting, he's in my department at my
Wow.
job. Small
Wow.
world, man. I was
That's
I
crazy.
just couldn't believe it.
Hmm,
Everything happens for a reason. I live by that, but I don't know if you live by that, but man,
I do.
it was just wild. I was like everything just was just falling into pieces, and I was like, no.
That's cool.
But yeah, he does tailgates and everything.
Hmm,
He's got a bunch of Patriots memorabilia. He's got more Patriots memorabilia than I do,
that's
and I
awesome.
live in New England.
That's
Can you
awesome.
believe that? I'm gonna need to snag some, put some on like the wall
Yeah.
over there. Need to spice up this background.
Right.
Yeah, it was wild. It was wild, but it was a cool thing. I thought that
Yeah.
that's something you just don't see in Europe as much.
Right. No, that's cool.
But anyways, let's get into some news and notes. Gary, there's not that much news and notes from around the league this week.
No,
Not
there's
just all.
not. Literally nothing.
Yeah, it's been quite a low key under the radar week. But there's only like a few set of notes. Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill has been involved in a domestic incident. No charges has been filed. That is something to keep in mind, though. Charges get filed, he could face a suspension or something along those lines until it's resolved, whatnot. But it is something to just monitor. Nothing huge at the moment. No.
Yeah, I did see that come up. That was like honestly probably the biggest news since our last show. And yeah, that's the only thing with Tyreek. I feel like this might be a recurring thing, or I feel like I hear his
Mm.
name in stories like these all the time. Um, Sucks because he's a great player, and that's the case with a lot of these guys, unfortunately. I don't know if it's they let the money get to them or they let their their status. They start thinking that they're above everybody else, but yeah, it's just not good, not a good recurring theme for the league.
No, it is not. And hopefully it ends up not end up having to be any charges and he ends up going about his way. There's
Mhm.
also been rumors that he's still planning on getting traded. There's
Mhm.
been rumors back and forth. Obviously, we saw a lot of rumors that he wanted to leave, then he was staying, then he might be leaving again. I don't know. I can't picture. Do the Dolphins really want to keep him, or does he want to go?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Dolphins would be crazy to like want to get rid of him, of course, but I don't know. I didn't like it when it happened. I just thought it wasn't going to really be a good fit. And in the beginning, it was. But, I mean, this past year, we kind of saw him have a significant drop off. And coming into this year, he was the um, debatable wide receiver one being drafted off boards. And he was nowhere near that. So I don't know what that's going to look like for the rest of his career. Hopefully, he's able to go back to that wide receiver one status that a lot of people think he is. But yeah, you don't know what the future's got in store for you, so we'll have to see.
Yeah, and if they don't end up, if the Dolphins per se don't end up doing good this season, and they have like a beginning season to a mid-season slump, we could see them start to sell the team and just try and go rebuild again,
For sure.
which is sad to see. But Jalen Waddle to the Patriots, it would be nice, but not
Yeah,
gonna
I guess.
happen. Not going to happen, of course. Speaking of what will be happening is Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray. He wants to run more. With his knee injury finally behind him, his torn ACL, he says, in quotes, he's open to running more in 2025. And that's good to know for fantasy managers because a lot of fantasy managers drafted him with his mobility that he had back in 2022, 2023 prior to his injury. And he was a stud for fantasy. And this past season, he wasn't bad. I'm not saying he was terrible, but he wasn't the elite form that we've seen him in the past be. So to show that he's going to be running more or to say that he wants to run more is a great sign for fantasy managers to go draft him a little bit earlier than he was planning on going.
I'm kind of surprised. I was surprised when I first saw this tweet because, I mean, as a Marvin Harrison Jr. owner and fan, I feel like I see this guy run a ton. Like I'm kind of sick and tired of seeing him run. He does one of two things: he runs or he throws to Trey McBride. That's it. So to say or to see that he thinks he should be running more, it's crazy to me. But I agree. For Kyler Murray fantasy owners, that's a gold mine waiting to happen.
Yeah, I mean he could end up being a top 5 running back if quarterback if he ends up being the mobile stuff that we've seen him be.
Yeah.
Some other news. Kyle Shanahan and Christian McCaffrey. He is saying that Christian McCaffrey, CMC, is healthy, but the 49ers are still looking to add a running back in the 2025 NFL draft. Obviously, they did lose Jordan Mason. Gary, this is a question to you. CMC being fully healthy, is he still, or should he still be considered at all a 101 pick in the redraft leagues this year?
That's a great question. I don't know. I really don't know. Because him being healthy at the beginning of the season has not always been consistent throughout. So it's like no matter what, you're kind of taking a risk by drafting him with the 101. I would honestly say no. I don't know what to think is going to come of Christian McCaffrey after this injury. Obviously, it was a big deal because he only played in, 3 games? And he wasn't up to CMC standard in those 3 games. So obviously it took a toll on him, and who's to say that it won't affect him going forward in his career? I'm not going to say it will or it won't, but I don't like to think that way. But this is the 101 that we're talking about. So
yeah, and that's the thing. Like the 101, I mean, a lot of fantasy managers, they were relying on CMC. That's why they drafted him at 101. And then to come out and say he wasn't even going to be relevant this year, I mean, that's a big blow because not only do you have the 101, but you don't have another pick if you're in like a 10-team league for another 18 picks, 19 picks. Like you spend 18, 19 players that you could have gotten who end up being very good, and you lose out on the 101, which, sometimes you can still win without having the 101, but it's just the point that now you're in this predicament. So I think CeeDee Lamb is probably going to be one of the 101 conversations. I'm guessing.
Yeah, probably. I mean,
Saquon.
I was on that page this year with, I think he should have been the number 1 pick this year. Of course, I mean, could have had a better season. Obviously, Dak went down, so I'm not going to hold too much on CeeDee Lamb. But I think he will be in that conversation again. But what I'm going to be interested in seeing is where Jetta falls because we've
Hmm.
seen him have. I mean, obviously he's possibly the best wide receiver in the league. We've seen him now play great with two separate quarterbacks. How is he going to be with pretty much a rookie JJ McCarthy?
He's gonna be a stud.
Probably, but I mean, I'm not just gonna I'm not just gonna say that 100% with a guy who, like I said, is essentially a rookie because he didn't play last year, coming off
Of
of a torn
course.
ACL. So
Do you think, and I'll ask you this on your take. Obviously, Sam Donald was the quarterback this year, but do you think, because I think you're on the boat that I'm about to say, JJ McCarthy was not NFL ready quarterback day one, correct?
mhm, mhm.
Do you think now 1 year, say he would have sat 1 year, obviously he couldn't because he had the injury anyways, but so he had to, but 1 year progresses. Do you think he's officially NFL ready to take on that starting role?
I mean, yeah, I guess. How much more sitting should he do? I don't think any. It just sucks that when he's coming in, he's coming off of a huge injury.
Mm.
So hopefully that doesn't stagnate him a little bit. But we've seen it happen to many players before. But I think he's going to get his shot. So
I think he'll still succeed in like Justin Jefferson. Will I think still succeed with JJ McCarthy
okay.
under the helm? But I did hear. I don't know if you saw the rumors. Jordan Addison was a possible trade candidate.
What? No, I did not see that at all.
I forget who I saw it. It could be false, but I don't think it was. I think if the Vikings were interested on trading him away, the Bills were interested in possibly trading for him.
No, I didn't see that at all. That's a crazy rumor.
I don't think if I'm the Bills fans, I honestly don't want Jordan Addison, and the reason why is I feel like he's not a true wide receiver one, and I think you're going to pair up Keon Coleman with Jordan Addison. I don't know if you're going to have a true alpha there.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with you. I was a fan of Jordan Addison coming out of USC and into the draft, but I don't know. He's too inconsistent for me, and of course he plays next to Justin Jefferson and even TJ
Mhm.
Hawkinson when he's healthy. But I don't know. I see him make a lot of mental mistakes, and I just don't really like 100% of what I've seen from him since he came to the NFL. And I completely agree with you. I don't think he's going to ever be a bona fide
Yeah.
wide receiver one in this league. And I think if you're the Bills, you kind of need that because ever since Diggs left, which is only 2 seasons ago, you haven't had bona fide wide receiver one. So
Do you think the Bills should draft a wide receiver one in this year's draft? In the first round.
see, that's the thing with me. Like, you know how long I've been talking this draft up? I really truly don't see a lot of wide receivers being true wide receiver one candidates outside of
Mm,
Tedero McMillan. I really don't. So
really?
yeah, no. I mean I love Emeka Ibuka as much as the next Ohio State fan, who's always Mr. Reliable for us, but there's a reason why he was never the true wide receiver one for us because he just didn't fit that
Mm,
role. And he's a spectacular talent. I don't think he'll ever be a wide receiver one. I don't think Matthew Golden will ever be a wide receiver one, truly.
I also agree with that.
Um, and I don't think I think people are overrating Travis Hunter's wide receiver ability. I think he'll be a great wide receiver two at best. And I mean, if he's playing snaps on the defensive side
Mm.
of the ball, then that's a great draft pick because you're getting a great wide receiver two and a guy that I think can be a top five lockdown corner in this draft or in this league, I should say. Um, but if he doesn't live up to that, then he'll just be a great corner, and that's okay. But I think he's getting a ton of hype right now, and hopefully he can live up to it because it seems like the Browns want him. But yeah, honestly, I'm getting a little off track here, but yeah, in this draft, outside of T Mac, I really, really, truly don't see a wide receiver that I think will be a wide receiver one for any team.
So I'll follow up with two questions. One for Travis Hunter, but one for the tier break. So you're basically having T-Mac, and then there's a complete break in like the next tier of wide receivers in this draft.
Yeah, totally.
Now, would you put Travis Hunter in the second tier break, or are you putting him a little bit farther down because of his situation and
No,
everything?
I'm putting him. What I think, his thing, like what he showed at Colorado, I don't think it's going to happen in the league. So what I'm saying is, like, as a prospect, yeah, he might be in that wide receiver 1 tier. What I
Yeah.
think's going to happen, like, he's probably in that 2-3. So
Okay. And for anyone who wants to know, we'll be talking about those top 10 wide receivers and tight ends on April 20th on our show. So we're going to have our top
that's
10.
that's always a good show too. I have fun doing that.
Yeah, we had fun. You, Keith, and I, we had
Yeah,
our consensus ones. It was interesting to look back on them after the draft and
yeah,
then do them again, because we'll do the post ones and see how we feel after and what we really are seeing. But I'm intrigued because I don't know how confident I am with T-Mac. But I will mention the Travis Hunter thing. Then the following question was, Browns draft him. You want him as a wide receiver or a corner? Or
well,
both?
I want him as both, obviously. Um, the Browns love him as a wide receiver, so he's going to play a wide receiver for us. How many reps he gets at corner, I don't know. Especially considering the fact that we have a great wide receiver or corner trio, I should say.
Yeah.
But I truly think that where his potential is, where he could be the best, is corner. So I would love to see him get as many DB reps as possible. Like I said, I think at best he's going to be a great wide receiver too. And I would also love that. So if he is able to play both positions at the NFL level, which I've always said I don't think he can, but if he is able to do that, and prove me wrong, I can't wait to see what he does.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm still wondering as well if he can succeed as in the NFL with the dual ability, like Shohei does in the MLB,
Right.
which he's battling injury and he's not even being a
Yeah.
pitcher right now.
But I mean, it's also like two different games. Like baseball is,
Sure.
in my opinion, so much easier to be a pitcher and hitter than it is to be an offensive and defensive player in the NFL.
That's very true, especially because in the MLB you're not always on the field the whole
Right.
time, and it's not like you're
Right.
running back and forth the whole time.
Right.
My last set of news that I want to talk about is Aaron Glenn mentioned how he wants to make the running back backfield for the Jets a running back committee. And did you happen to see a cryptic tweet?
Is it by Brees Hall? Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, I
Brees
mean,
Hall.
go ahead. I'll talk after.
No, go right ahead. Go right ahead.
Well, what I was gonna say is I can't blame him, to be honest with you. I've never been a Brees Hall fan, but I mean, let's be honest. Like, I think what's holding him back is the fact that he doesn't have the backfield to himself. And obviously, the Jets have never had that great of an offensive line. The offense as a whole wasn't great last year. I'll be honest with you. If he goes to a place like if he was in a system like the Chargers or I don't know. Off the top of my head, I can't think of any spots, but like a place where they utilize him first in that offense, and that's something that you could say about anybody, but he's going to excel. Like he's going to be unbelievable. We've already seen him finish as a running back 3, running back 2 as well. I can't remember. Last year, I think he was RB 3 or 4, something like that.
Yeah.
So like we've seen
Top
what
5.
he can do. And last year he had Braylon Allen, who was a pretty good backup. So I don't know, but I would love to see him go to a different team where he's valued. But with that being said, of course he's not an offensive-minded coach, but we've seen what a running back committee has done in an Aaron Glenn team. So I can't help but discredit Aaron Glenn for thinking that way, because like he's seen what they can do. So
yeah, and to me, in my perspective, I think if Brees Hall doesn't have the reputation he wants, in the Jets and he wants out, I think the Broncos should be calling up the Jets right now. They are in desperate need of a running back, and I think Breece Hall in that Broncos backfield would be elite.
Another one. Nice show. I like that.
Yeah, and like if you do look at his stats, I mean, Breece Hall has yet to have a 1,000-yard rushing season, which is crazy to think because he's been in the league for 3 years, and we see him as such an elite back. His rookie season, only 463 yards, didn't play the full season. Last season, 2 seasons ago, 994, just 6 yards shy from 1,000. And the last season, it's not like he did bad. He had 876. His average per carry did go down. That is an issue. But his yards per catch went up by almost 1 yard, which doesn't sound like a lot, but in the end is a lot. And he almost had a similar number as well. Similar touchdowns, 5 touchdowns to the year before. I mean, he has the potential to be the 1,000-yard rushing player. It's just, the Jets are cursed. And I think that we can see a lot of more RPO options with Justin Fields. So I think if you're giving Breece Hall another chance and not putting him into a committee, I think this is the final year to do it. And
right.
I just think that Justin Fields doing a bunch of RPOs, it's going to be like a Saquon Barkley offense. Not saying Breece is Saquon, but I'm saying that it's going to bring a lot of defense towards Justin Fields, and you're going to have a lot of open opportunities with Breece Hall.
No, I totally agree with you. And that's why I was so high on Derrick Henry when he initially said he was coming to the Ravens. Of course, Lamar Jackson is Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry is Derrick Henry. So without each other, they're already great. But I heard that Derrick Henry was officially a Raven, I was like, here we go. Because I already know how good that run game is with just Lamar by himself. Now you're incorporating, at the time, one of, if not the best back in the league. I mean, come on. It's pretty easily stated that they're going to go absolutely off in the run game. And I could see the exact same thing. Justin Fields isn't Lamar Jackson and Breece Hall isn't Derrick Henry, but I could see the exact same thing happening. Not to the same extent that the Ravens do it, but I could see the exact same thing happening here.
Yeah, and I love the Broncos. I really do think that they're just one running back away, and that offense looks very elite, pretty elite. Maybe add another wide receiver. True, you could add another wide receiver, but realistically, that offense with Bo Nix, I don't know. I have a lot of potential. There's a lot of potential there.
No, I agree with you. That offensive line's great. Portland Sutton just had a career year. They just signed Evan Ingram. Defense has always been good. Except for like 2 years prior to this year. But this year they were back on top like they had been. Surtain won the DPOY, so that's good. But yeah, I completely agree with you. As long as Bo Nix is playing like how he did this year and they continue to gain experience, in 5 years they could be one of the contending teams in the AFC. I could 100% see that.
Yeah, I would like to see it. You got any more news and notes?
No, we were able to drag those 3 things out for a little bit, so I'm kind of glad of that.
We did talk about a bunch of other things, but
yeah.
I mean, overall, I think that was pretty good. Well, it's of course time for one of the greatest segments that we do here. It is a mock draft, and it is the 5th mock draft live on the show that we've done so far. If you haven't done so, check those other ones out. One of them, I think 3.0, was with Andy McNamara, who's sadly another Browns fan. I can't get away with these damn Browns fans. Just can't get away with them.
We're everywhere. No, we're not.
Everywhere but winning. Right. Everywhere and anywhere but winning. But again, we're using PFF, no trades. Gary, I'm going to have you decide what you want to do here and how you want to form this draft. Do you want to do every other AFC, NFC, AFC East, NFC North, and then vice versa? How do you want to do it?
I'm cool with every other. If you want to do that,
sounds good. You want to do? Yeah, you know what?
Yeah,
sure. Last time you had the odds. I'll take the odds this time.
Okay.
I'll be on the clock, and I'm going to be honest. I'm going to try and make it as realistic as possible, and I do think we already know the consensus here. And it's Mr. Cam Ward.
Yeah, it's probably how it's going to end up, and I'm totally fine with that. Man, there's a lot of smoke going on right now. The Browns want Travis Hunter, or it's going to be one of the Colorado guys. I think they're just going to do it and go Travis Hunter.
And I agree. I think this is exactly what's going to happen. Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, I think we've kind of seen looks to be solidified as the 1 and 2. Number 3 can get very interesting because he can go a lot of different routes.
Can it?
I think so. If they really want to, they can do a lot of different things. They can go to Will Campbell. If they want offensive line help. They can get a quarterback in a crowded quarterback room already. I think how it's going to go, unfortunate for the Patriots, but Abdul Carter is going to go here.
Yeah, I think it's either Carter or trade back, truly. I think they're out of the quarterback market, unless they're going to draft one later, which definitely is a possibility. But I don't think that's going to happen at 3. All right, so Patriots on the clock. I think he can really actually be something in the league if he goes to the right spot. I truly, truly do.
I know you were a little hype man for him last show.
I have been for a while now, but
all right, what do you want to do with these Patriots?
Well, whether they stay at this spot or not, I think they're going to end up with Will Campbell. It's looking a lot more likely like it's going to be that way.
Well, I gotta leave.
Oh no! The Patriots don't go with a sexy pick.
I just don't want Will Campbell. I just don't want him. I just don't want him. Maybe he is going to be great. Maybe he is going to be great. There's better needs, I think. There's like bigger needs. We need a wide receiver.
You just signed one.
Stephon Diggs. Whoop-de-doo.
Oh, now it's
I'm not. Whoa! I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying that. I love Stephon Diggs. I was saying that I wanted him to go to the Patriots, and I predicted him to go to the Patriots. But he can't be the only addition that we get on offense.
Okay,
Devon
but here's
Baker,
the thing.
Jalen Polk, irrelevancy.
I know. Okay, I agree with you that you guys need a receiver, but here's the thing. There are not that many day one starting offensive linemen in this draft. There are a ton of day one ready, NFL ready wide receivers in this draft that you need to be able to exploit the depth of. And I think the Patriots are going to do such a good job of that this year. I think all teams are going to be able to do a good job of that this year. That's why I've been saying it. I can't stress enough. I've been so excited for this draft, and I still can't wait these last, 2.5 weeks?
Yeah.
However many we got. So
14 days? Exactly.
Yeah.
15 days?
15, yeah.
14 for me. I looked at my calendar. I think realistically the safest route is Will Campbell, I will admit. I think there's 3 options. T-Mac, if Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter are not there, it's T-Mac, Will Campbell, or Ashton Jeanty. I think those are the 3 main guys that there's a possibility. Maybe we trade back a little bit, but hey, it's man, it is what it is. It is what it is. We'll see how this goes. But I'm on the clock again. And Jaguars just don't scream to me that they're going to draft a wide receiver here. I think they're going to go more defensively, and I think we're going to see a guy like Mason Graham going at number 5.
Makes total sense. That's probably what it will be.
Yeah, and they could shock the world. Tyler Warren could go there for all we know.
Maybe. Yeah. No, you're definitely right about that.
Now that Evan Ingram's not there, I mean, Tyler Warren can go as high as 5, which is crazy to think.
No, you're right. Raiders on the clock at 6. Yeah, I'm just gonna take Ashton Jeanty here. Why not? Right? Like, why not? They currently have an empty backfield, so.
I can't disagree with you. I think this is a great pick. I think the farthest Jeanty falls is probably 6, if at most 10, and that's like 10 is already pushing it. I think people are going to want to trade up for him, and if anything, they might trade up to number 5 or number 4 with the Patriots or Jaguars to get Jeanty. I mean, if I'm the Cowboys, if I'm the Bears, if I'm maybe the Saints, I mean they have.
Yeah, but You see, the
Yeah,
Cowboys have already said they don't want to draft him. They don't want to go
they
that
say a
route.
lot of things. They're probably going to draft a wide receiver, knowing them.
They'll probably
I'm gonna be
draft
honest.
the 10th best tackle in the draft when there's been one taken off already.
My goodness. I mean, I wouldn't also be surprised. That sounds like a Jerry Jones move.
Right.
Here we are with the Jets, and I think if you're talking about the slumpness of Brees Hall and how he hasn't been his potential, and you just signed Justin Fields, you have Garrett Wilson, you really don't need another big wide receiver and spend a lot of draft capital, at least top 10, on a wide receiver here. I think what you do here is you protect the assets that you have. You protect Brees Hall with the run game, and you protect Justin Fields in the pass game. And you go sign the second best tackle in this draft, Amon Membo.
That's exactly where I would have gone. So I applaud.
I wonder the Jets fan, Mr. Coop, how he's feeling on that pick.
I can tell you right now, he loves it. That's also what he would have
Okay.
done.
All right. Fair enough.
All right.
You're on the clock here
Panthers.
with the Panthers. Oof.
Yeah, no, they're going defense 100%, in my opinion. They have no safeties right now, so I could see Malachi Starks go here, but I don't think that's what I'm going to do. No,
Malachi Starks going at 8 wouldn't be bad.
I think I want to take his teammate, though. I think I want to go Jalen Walker.
I
want to go Jalen Walker. Yeah.
All right. I you know what? Walker is projected mid-round, but he could easily jump up the board. Easily.
I think he's going to. He's a beast.
He is. He's a very big beast. That could end up being as high as 8 or maybe even as low as 32.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a lot of defensive players in this draft that have so much potential to be first round picks, but could slip out first.
Yeah.
So those early day 2 picks, those teams could end up profiting from that.
For sure.
Jack Sawyer could fall.
Yes, sir. Exactly right.
I'm on the clock with the Saints and Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed. They're on contract years. There's a lot of problems going on with the receiving core. Are you going to help Derek Carr? I think you have to. And GNT's not here. You might have wanted to take GNT. I don't think you should, but GNT was on the board. He's no longer there. I think you take T-Mac.
Okay. Don't hate it. Definitely could see it, but it's crazy to see that a guy that was originally being projected like the 4th overall pick, if he gets past 9, he could go for a while.
Yeah, and I think if he falls to 15, that's when those middle 20 teams are going to try and jump as quick as possible to get him.
Could happen. He could be a huge value steal for whoever drafts him.
I would love to see the Packers be very aggressive. If he falls close to 9 or 10, be as aggressive as they can to try and snag him.
That would be cool. That would be really cool.
Oof, you're on the clock here. A lot of opportunities here.
Yeah, I don't even know what they want to do. I think, you know what? I'll just take Josh Simmons. I think that if they're in this scenario, they might honestly trade back. But Caleb Williams, I think you have to go offensive line because Caleb Williams last year got sacked second most or the most ever in a season by a quarterback. So what does that scream? You need help on the offensive line.
Yeah, and I can't disagree with you. Any biasy because he's a Buckeye?
Not at all. Like I said it. If they're in the spot, they might just trade back.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I could see them end up with him. So
honestly, you sniped me on this pick because the 49ers need just about anything that they can. And I think protecting Brock Purdy would have been a big deal. And I was actually looking at Josh Simmons here. But unfortunately, you did steal him from me. So I'm going to have to go defense here. Let's see. Who is the guy that I'm looking for? Honestly, these guys are up and down. But I think this guy, Mikael Williams, he could end up being a guy that can jump up. And I think he could help on the edge for San Fran.
Okay, I like it. I think he's a great player. So I wouldn't be surprised if he jumps up in that top 15. All right,
Don't be
Cowboys
surprised
and
though if they go
Hawks.
Jade Barron too.
Yeah, or I mean, Will Johnson's still there too. I think
That's true.
I think he's better. But they're on the clock. I think they're going to take a wide receiver. I think they're going to go with Luther Burden.
Oh, I just hate if they take a wide receiver because I just don't
I
think
think they're gonna
fantasy
do it.
value. I know, and I think they will do it. What did CD? What overall pick was CD? Do you know what overall pick CD Lamb was? I think he was around pick 12. No.
I thought it was like 10. 10 or 11.
Okay, yeah, I'll have to look. I'll have to look and see what overall draft pick he was. But anyways, yeah, it's gonna be a very similar situation if they do decide to go for another wide receiver. And Luther Burden is the next best available, so wouldn't be surprised. And I don't know if I see Luther Burden.
He was number 17.
being
He was number 17.
okay. Really, he was that low? I thought he was a lot higher.
Yeah.
I thought he was just outside the top 10.
No.
I think Burden could be a solid wide receiver too. I don't know if I'll ever see him as a wide receiver 1. Maybe he'll blow my mind, but I think if you pair him up, Dak Prescott has no excuse to not succeed.
And that's like where I think their head is at, right? Like they just gave Dak this unbelievable amount of money. Now what do you have to do? You have to go out and get him some help. Obviously, you let Rico Dowdle walk, but in this day and age, a lot of running backs are replaceable. Go and get a top tier wide receiver 2 guy who you can keep around for a little bit.
Yeah, and you're going to have him for 4 years plus a 5th-year option.
Right.
If he hits. I'm on the clock with the Dolphins, and what better way to protect Tua, there's been many concerns. Protect him. Go get Kelvin Banks. I think I really wanted to go Will Johnson here, but I just think that you have to protect Tua at all costs. If you're trying to push, make that push.
We'll really see where the Dolphins' head's at, because if they don't draft an offensive lineman, what's that mean for Tua? Because it really shows that they don't care about him.
Yeah. Do you think if they struggle this year that he could be on the chopping block / trading block? Like, would they trade Tua?
I don't think so, to be honest with you. But I just wouldn't like it as a quarterback if I'm literally putting my life on the line every time I come back from a concussion, and my team doesn't try their best to beef up the offensive line and keep me from risking my life. But that's just me.
Yeah, and I think you, me, Tua, we all agree. I mean, I think you have to protect Tua at all costs. So,
right.
And they didn't really do much in free agency with it.
All right, so the Colts are on the clock, and I think these top 2 guys are who they're going to be picking from, honestly. I think it's going to be Tyler Warren, but Jade Barron just had a meeting with the Colts. I think they're heavily invested in him as well. I think if it's between these 2 guys, they would go with Tyler Warren, though.
Right. I think Tyler Warren has been one of the most consensus pick 14 pick in.
Yeah, he just screams the Colt. I mean,
he does, and hopefully Tyler Warren's helping out that offense, because that offense just looks horrendous every time.
Yeah.
I'm on the clock here with the Falcons, and I'm going to take a linebacker named Jaheed Campbell. He will be my pick. I'm going to take a top defensive player, linebacker. I thought of maybe taking an edge rusher, but I just think linebacker is more important for them right now.
He's a great player. I think for the Cardinals, they need a defensive back, and they also need defensive line. I think here they're gonna go with Will Johnson.
Oh, sorry.
But I think Mike Green could be a name that they might throw out. I think they're gonna go with Will Johnson though.
I like that pick. I think Will Johnson fell a little bit more than what I wanted him to fall, but I think he could He could get drafted to, per se, like the San Francisco 49ers. Like he could be as high as 11. But I think this is a great pick for Arizona. I think you kind of buff up the defense that you need, and you get what you need for it. Cincinnati's on the clock. And, Travion Henderson. Travion Henderson. My goodness.
I was gonna say.
Do you think he's a day 2 pick, by the way?
Yeah, probably. I mean, he could go day 1, but it'll probably be day 2 pick. Yeah.
Day 2. Do you see him being a second-round pick or a third-round pick?
Probably like mid to low second.
Okay. Yeah, I could probably see that as well. But Trey Hendrickson is what I was trying to say, anyways.
There you go.
There's been a lot of contract problems with him. And will he sit out? Will he not? Will he get traded? Or will he get finally a payday? And I don't think the Bengals can afford him right now. I think you're going to need to take the next successor. It's not Mike Green. I have Donovan Azirko.
Okay.
If I said that right. I think
something like that.
Yeah, something along those lines. We'll get it figured out on draft day. Don't you guys worry.
Right. Now, I don't know what to think with the Seahawks, to be honest with you. I mean, the defensive line was pretty bad last year. So I think the smart thing would just be to take Mike Green, but they've talked about taking a wide receiver. I think they'll do it later in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm just going to go with Mike Green here.
Yeah, this is a safe choice. Honestly, if he's still on the board, Seattle will just take best available edge rusher, or if they can find a way to move either an offensive line to a guard and draft a tackle, that could also be an option for them to go get a tackle if there's any tackles left on the board, really.
Yeah.
So we have the Buccaneers on the clock. They need a lot of things. There's an option where they could go James Pierce. There's an option they could go Shamar Stewart if they want an edge rusher. Truly want an edge rusher. I think they'll take Jahdae Barron. Jahdae Barron will be going to the Buccaneers.
I like it. They need that bad. So
that's what I'm thinking. I mean, offensively, they're studded. Defensively, they need some work.
By the way, I think we could see numerous teams making calls here to try to get Malachi Starks because, man, has he just fallen down.
Yeah, I can't not disagree with you enough.
And a team that might be getting out of position is the one that I'm drafting for right now, to be honest with you. Because I have the Broncos selecting Omarion Hampton.
Yes, our thumbnail player,
yes,
Omarion Hampton. I love this. I actually wanted you to pick it, and I just didn't know if you were going to end up picking it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I think this is great. Yeah, no questions asked. If Breece Hall doesn't get traded, then by all means. Which Breece Hall do you think? If Breece Hall gets traded, is he worth this number 20 overall pick? I think he could. No. I think he could. Maybe add like a 5th or 6th back.
I wouldn't give up more than a second for him.
Okay. I'm on the clock here with the Steelers. I might shake the draft up a little bit. They can go Malachi Starks. They could. They won't. What's their biggest need right now on the depth chart? Quarterback.
Oh.
Quarterback.
No.
They called Dion and they go, "We want to draft your son.
You want to draft Monroe?"
And Dion goes, "You're not drafting my son."
Really?
Because he's going to sit for 2 years or 1 to 2 years behind Rodgers. I don't want him sitting behind Rodgers. All right, fine. Then we're not going to take Sanders. We're going to do a dart throw on the board.
Let's go.
Jackson Dart is being drafted at 21. I think this is I've been talking about Jackson Dart being a perfect fit for the Steelers because Dart can sit for 1 year, and I think he can sit behind Rodgers, learn from Rodgers, and he could be a stud when Rodgers leaves. And I'm all hyped for it.
I totally agree with you. I think this is a great spot for him. I've been saying it as well. I'm happy that you didn't go Shedeur Sanders because I don't know if you've seen reports. The Browns might try to make him and Hunter both Browns.
And I actually do want to see that. I will be honest, I do want to see that.
That would be so awesome. I would love it.
I hate that it's the Browns, but I just want to see that them two pair up and truly see if they can succeed in the NFL.
Yeah. No, I just saw another tweet 30 minutes ago. The Browns reportedly could try to draft Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders both. Man, I would love to see that because, I mean, here's the thing, right? Like, you know how long I've been wanting Shedeur? Problem is, I just don't think he's the guy at 2. I think it's either Hunter or Carter.
And I agree. I agree with that. Would you take Jalen Milroe in day 2?
Probably not. You know, honestly, if Dart is still there, I would take him over him in a heartbeat. Milroe's probably my quarterback 4, in all honesty. And he's not for a lot of people. So
no, I can see him as quarterback 4 or 5, somewhere around them.
Yeah.
Which can we just also state the fact that if Rodgers does sign with the Steelers, this would now happen twice, where he was on a team and the team drafts a quarterback in the first round.
Yeah.
And it becomes a successor. And Jordan Love.
That's true.
We saw that.
That's true.
Chargers are on the clock, though.
All right.
What are we sniffing out here for the Chargers?
I think it's got to be Kenneth Grant. I mean, we talked about this before. We talked about it on our very first draft, I believe. Harbaugh is not going to let a Michigan guy go right by, especially when they need defensive line. So I think it's going to be that. It's that or a wide receiver, and I truly don't think they're going to go wide receiver. I really, really don't. So I think it's going to be either Kenneth Grant or Walter Nolan. Like I said, if they're between those two guys, it's going to be the Michigan guy.
Yeah, and we've mentioned it multiple times. I just maybe it is true. Maybe Harbaugh will pass up on him. I mean, we thought Justin Herbert was going to be on the trade block, and they were going to try and get JJ McCarthy, and they didn't. He decided not to. So I think he could very much pass up on Kenneth Grant. But again, I also wouldn't be surprised because this seems like a slam dunk for Harbaugh if he does like Grant and we saw what he did in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Green Bay's on the clock. Green Bay is obviously taking a wide receiver. And I think one of the biggest wide receiver fits that I've been seeing so much and how he would be a great fit is Matthew Golden.
The only thing I'm skeptical on is when was the last first round wide receiver that they took? Like, they've never done it.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. And every year, I feel like we say that they're going to do it, and they never do. If I'm being honest with you, if they're in this situation and they're typical Packers don't want to take a wide receiver, Malachi Starks is going to be a Green Bay Packer. I mean, he's fallen too far, and they need another safety. They have Xavier McKinney and who else? I don't know their safety. So, that would be a great scenario for my NFC Packers.
I think that wouldn't be a bad pick, to be honest, either.
But I'd also love to see Emeka go there too. So if that were the case, then I'd be happy with that as well.
I think just Emeka being drafted in the first round, you would enjoy.
Oh well, yeah, but I mean, that's the thing. He should be a first rounder, but it's fine. That's the talk for another day. All right, Vikings are on the clock, and I think they're gonna go with Malachi Starks. I truly do.
He just keeps falling, and I think this is the farthest he should drop.
Exactly, and I mean, they are a candidate for trading out of the first round for a team that would draft him, and they would maybe draft Travion in the second round or something, or Amarian Hampton if he's in the second round still. But if they are to stay there, and not draft a running back, I think that's the easiest play they can make because they need secondary help, and he's a potential top 10 pick, falling to the 24th overall pick.
Yeah, and I think this is no doubt slam dunk. You get the best player available, and the Vikings continue to succeed. Texans are on the clock, and I think CJ Stroud, he struggled a lot. He struggled a lot to have a bounce back season. Like his season just was not the season that we expected to see from him. Joe Mixon succeeded a little bit, but again, the offensive line was not good. So I think they're going to have to look at an offensive line. They're going to have to look at maybe Gray Zabel, maybe Josh Connerly. But they're going to be the Bengals, and they're drafting Emeka Egbuka.
Yeah, let's go. That's awesome.
Dude, I think I was looking at their depth chart. I mean, if you really look at it, they don't have Stephon Diggs anymore. Nico's the number one. Christian Kirk, they traded for a 7th-round pick. They could just cut him.
Yeah.
Tank Dell, love Tank Dell, but the guy's been injury prone. He's going to come off a gruesome injury that we saw. Will he be the same? Realistically, your only wide receiver is Nico Collins right now. If you really think
Yeah,
about it.
it's going to be wide receiver or offensive line. Those are the only two needs, in my opinion, for that team.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but Texans, please, just do what everybody loves and do what we all want to happen.
I want to see it happen so bad.
I will be willing to draft Emeka in fantasy drafts at the 102.
Oh, dude. Yeah, like easy. I mean, he's already a top 5 pick, but easily that top 3.
Oh my goodness. I would spend as much draft capital as I can for him. Because I'm a CJ Stroud believer, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no.
All right, you on the clock with the LA Rams.
I'm just gonna go with Colston Loveland. Keep it short and sweet.
Yeah.
Clearly, tight end's their biggest need, and not much outside of that. Although, I mean, their defense isn't great, but they might want to look at offensive line too because that's what lost them the game against the Eagles.
Yeah, I think losing Cooper Kupp and having Tyler Higbee as your tight end that hasn't really produced much is just something that you're going to need to work on and try and improve. And I think I'm okay with Loveland being there.
Can totally see that.
Ravens, they're on the clock here. They can go offensive line, keep protecting. Honestly, they need more defense. You can mention Siobhan Revel. I just don't see that happening, in my opinion. I think I could see someone like James Pierce or Nick Scorton being there. If you want to make it more interesting, maybe take Josh Connerly, maybe try and work around that offensive line. But I think safe option, James Pierce is the guy.
Like it would have gone in the same direction. And I think it's what the Lions are going to do. I think they're going to take Shamar Stewart. I mean, he's an absolute unit. He can go in the top 15, top 10 picks. He's a huge rising candidate, and I think him being this low is a no-brainer for the Lions.
Yeah, and I think that's not a bad pick, honestly. I think there is a way where the Lions could – they say they need a wide receiver. They could go with a wide receiver, but I think realistically their defense faced a lot of injuries this past season. And I think you need to address that and try to fix that up. I am on the clock here, and I'm debating what I want to do with Washington. They could go for a running back, which would be crazy to see 3 running backs go. What is it, Dylan Sampson? That's the next guy. Yeah, Dylan Sampson. Doubt he's going to be in the first. Doubt it. But I think one of the biggest reasons why they weren't in the Super Bowl is their defense. Their defense ended up choking. And I think we got to give love to this guy. This guy may fall to the second round. And I think he should be a late first-round pick. And that guy is none other than a Buckeye, Jack Sawyer.
Yes. Love it. I hope he goes in the first round. I don't know if he will, but I'd love to see it because he did so much for us. So,
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles took him, to be honest.
mhm. All right. The Bills are on the clock. And I mean, this is a scenario where we could see them taking wide receiver. I don't think it would happen. I think they're going to take a wide receiver, but not at this pick. Um, Pretty much strictly defensive help. This is the scenario where they could trade out, might not. I think Nick Scorton and Walter Nolan are the two guys that I would look at. I think Walter Nolan has just been slipping a little bit, and they might just take the best player available.
Oof, that was a good pick because I was debating about taking him either at 31 or if I didn't take him at 31, he was definitely going to go at 32.
Yeah.
I was thinking of taking him. I think now that he's gone, you have to go address the offensive line, try to work with your offensive line. Could go with Zabel, but I'm going to go with Josh Connerly. I think Josh Connerly is just a little bit better than Zabel, and I think Connerly can scheme fit better in that offense with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, no, I like it. That's probably the exact same thing that I would have done. So,
Eagles are on the clock. The final, last but not least.
And they usually find an unbelievable steal here.
They need a wide receiver. It says top need. You want Jack Beck?
No, they don't.
You want Trey Harris?
I think they're going to go Nick Scorton.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
They need to address the help off the edge. Now that they lost Sweat, they lost somebody else. They lost Milton Williams, so they just need help on the defensive line. I think Nick Scorton could be a huge breakout candidate. And yeah, that's kind of where my head's at.
Yeah, I think that's a great pick to close out this draft. I'll mention quickly, dive into some fantasy values based on this, because obviously after the draft, we're going to have the reactions of the draft, and then we're going to have on April 30th the rookie mock draft, and basically kind of take some rookies that are going to shift from what we've been doing before this draft. Cam Ward and Jackson Dart are the two that come off the board here. Not seeing the second, third, whatever rounds. Would you draft? Are you still into Cam Ward, or do you think Cam Ward and Jackson Dart are going to be drafted very similar in draft positions?
Are you talking about in Dynasty?
Yeah, in Dynasty.
I don't know. That's a great question because it all depends. Like we've never seen the Titans make huge splashes in free agency, and it's all like, will they help out Cam Ward? Because right now they look like a pit where nobody wants to go to. So, I mean, are you asking me with Jackson Dart in Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could totally see them going in like the exact same spot. Yeah, if this were the case.
Yeah. I can very much see that. I think maybe Dart slips to like the beginning third round, and then Ward
I could see like
second.
I could see Ward like middle of second and Dart early third.
Yeah. Running backs, Ashton Jeanty, we know 101, so we don't really have to talk too much about him. But honestly, everyone's gonna be hyped about Jeanty. But if Amarian Hampton goes to the Broncos, I'm overhyping. I'm gonna overhype Amarian Hampton because I think that's just such a big, amazing fit. Like it's just one of the greatest fits to see for fantasy value. You're going to see a lot of fantasy value with Amarian Hampton being in Denver. So I think he should be a late first round pick. If that mid first. Yeah,
we'll see. I mean, they don't have a good track record with UNC running backs, but we'll see if he can break through. I mean, it's a totally different team now than when they had Javonte Williams when he was starting his career. So you will see they have a great offensive line now, so that definitely helps. And the offense just moves the ball. So I can't disagree with you. I think he's a great pick.
All right. Wide receivers. Say Travis Hunter states he will be a wide receiver. Hunter, T-Mac, Emeka Egbuka, Matthew Golden. How are you ranking these? Oh, and Luther Burton. how are you ranking these wide receivers based on their landing spots here?
Yeah, you see, like, I want to know if the Browns also get Siddur Sanders.
Okay. Well, I can't say yes, they will, but because we're only basing on first, but most likely they will.
Okay. Then I would go T-Mac 1. I would go...
Fantasy value.
Yeah,
Fantasy
yeah,
value.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm still going T-Mac 1.
Okay.
Then I would go Emeka 2, Sanders, or Hunter 3, but I think they're like neck and neck. Maybe not neck and neck, but I would give the slight edge to Emeka.
Yeah.
Then Hunter, and then who was the last one? Burden, you said?
And Golden.
Oh, then I would go Golden, then Burden.
Okay. I would have, based on these landing spots, I would have Emeka at 1.
Okay.
T-Mac at 2. I would.
You know what? I'm sorry. Hold on. I don't want to cut you off, but if we are going based off this, then yeah, I wouldn't have T-Mac at 1 at all. If he goes to the Saints, I would probably stick him maybe in between Emeka and Hunter.
Yeah.
I'd probably push Emeka 1, T-Mac 2, Hunter 3. And
and that's
they're all close, but that's probably what I'd have.
Yeah, and I would agree with you. I think that those are the top 3 for me. With the other wide receivers based on their landing spots, Green Bay taking Golden, they need a wide receiver, so I'm gonna put Golden at 4. And then Burden. Am I missing one other? I know I'm missing one other. No? Really? Okay, yeah, Burden last. I just don't think it's a great landing spot for wide receivers for fantasy for Burden going to the Cowboys.
No, I agree with you, but that's probably what's going to happen. So
yeah. Tight ends wise, are you taking Loveland or Warren? Like who do you think is better fit?
I think Loveland obviously has the better fit because they're just such a much better offense. The kicker to that is I think Tyler Warren's the better player. I think Colston Loveland might slightly be better, at least to start their careers. But like I said, Tyler Warren's by far the better player, so I think dynasty-wise, he would be the better pick.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't disagree with you. Loveland is the better pick, in my opinion. Warren could very well be a safety blanket for AR5 or whoever is the backup, Daniel Jones. But I think Tyler Warren could succeed on getting just fed the ball. But I think Loveland is the better value here.
Okay.
For fantasy. Well, I guess that's going to do it here. Another draft in the books. Another mock draft in the books.
Yes, sir.
I think it was a good one. I think this one was a little bit different, but still fun. A lot of fun.
Hey, man, if we were doing trades, I was going to have the Browns call.
Of course you were. Of course you were.
To get that 5th year on Shedeur.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing them jump to the Eagles spot at 32.
But of course, that's if he falls that far and nobody jumps ahead of us for him. But that'd be the best scenario because we have 33, so we wouldn't have to give up that much to jump one spot. But
yeah, I think you guys would be fine with that. Maybe like the second, and then maybe a 5th, 6th.
It would probably be like in my opinion, probably like a 4th and a 6th.
Yeah. Well, that's our 5th mock draft in the books. Again, if you haven't done so already, go use that code SportsTimeHQ on Underdog Fantasy. They'll match first deposit up to $100. If you haven't done so, go to TrophySmack.com/SportsTimeHQ and you can get yourself a trophy, a ring, or a belt. You go use that link. We can start giving discounts, 50% off rings, but can't do it until you start using that website URL. Again, TrophySmack.com/SportsTimeHQ. SportsTimeHQ code on Underdog Fantasy. Again, match your first deposit up to $1,000. We're here every single week on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. and Sundays at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. I was joined by my great co-host, Gary. Go follow him all over social media at GD Picks. I'm Fernando. I'm your host of SportsTimeHQ, and we'll see you all on Sunday.